2024 Enoch calendar, year 14 of the King. And guys, we're very excited showing you the calendar. We'll show you how to get the calendar on the website. But we're in a year. It is year number 11 since we did the calendar. And how it works is we have, as you go through the years, you have to keep track of the years in the Enoch calendar so as to know when to add a leap year. So this is a leap week, okay? And what happens is you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. After 5 years, at the conclusion of that year, you add a week, and that's going to adjust the time. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is 24 is the 6th year. At the conclusion of it, 2024, we add a week, and that adjusts for the calendar. So we're in one board. It actually can keep track of the whole calendar, but obviously for most of us, we are on the Gregorian calendar on devices and other things that we're following. But what is it that correctly shows us the feasts and everything else is, of course, the Enoch calendar, proven through the book of Revelation. So we have the website we'll show you, and that's where all our resources are. And so many questions that you have and different things that you might have and come to mind and have questions about the calendar is definitely going to be in the playlist called the Enoch calendar.
The 2024 Enoch calendar. The 14th year of the King. It is done. Wow, it's astonishing to be here. But first off, obviously the video is about the 2024 calendar, which in the King's timeline is the 14th year. The 7th bowl in Passover, it is done. Now, first off, obviously, where do we find the calendar? Well, we go, just type in your browser, lelandjones.com, Leland with 2 E's. You come to the main page, which looks like this, and scroll down, and you'll see the Enoch calendar 2024. If you click on that, that will bring up the PDF here. We also have a digital version of the calendar. It's one that you can print off and kind of have like a regular calendar. Each month is like a page, okay? In addition to that, we also do have a calendar page. And we find that calendar page if you put your mouse over this video courses and scroll down to the link Enoch calendar. This brings us to the calendar page. And here you can see the significance of the calendar as it relates to the temple, the Revelation 12 sign. And what we'll do here is this video we'll post, once it's finished and posted, we'll have it here. And again, the links. We're still reflecting the year 2023 here. But this is all the resources and everything on the Enoch calendar. Things that are very, very detailed, which we're not going into this video, but we do actually have on the page as well, the 2024. And then as you look, you can see we have all the previous years available as well. Since the calendar, this is our 10th year in the Enoch calendar. Its first year was 2024, okay? And we'll do some basics because even after 10 years, people still can't read it, but we'll do some basics. And yeah, but this is very profound. In this video, we're going to talk about what, the significance of it is done, the 7th bowl. But just some basics. Here is the calendar in PDF form. You can take this and print it off at a print shop, preferably in color, and you'll see it a little bit more clearly. The device I'm on does not have a very good screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show this to you in physical format, but I just wanted to show you the PDF here, and then you can, it does look better than what it looks like on the screen is what I'm trying to tell you. So, common questions. All right, well, when's the feast? Well, our first day of the first month is March 13th. That's March 13th, and so that means that afterwards we would have Passover, Pesach, 2 weeks later, and that would be on the 26th of March. Now, technically what happens is you celebrate Passover in the feast at the sunset of the previous Gregorian day. So, for example, on Tuesday, March 25th, when the sun is going down, that's memorializing the children of Israel coming out, sacrificing the Passover at sunset and doing the Exodus as a Passover. Then you would have 3 days and 3 nights journey through the wilderness, and then they would come out to the Red Sea. And when it came out the Red Sea, that is commemorating first fruits, commemorating the Lord Jesus Christ 3 days, 3 nights in the grave when he was resurrected on first fruits. And the children of Israel, they passed through the Red Sea on the same day. So that is when Passover is. If you want to be exactly at the sundown, that's March Tuesday, okay, or the second day of the week at sundown is keeping the Passover, and then we would have the week of unleavened bread. Now you'll notice here that the calendar is marked with a lunar eclipse. So at that very night, and when this is taking place, there will be a partial lunar eclipse. I'm not really sure where it's visible and everything like that, but that's very significant because how the eclipses work is you have an eclipse, and then 2 weeks later you have another eclipse. That happens 2 times every year, and the big one is the solar eclipse over America. So this is the big one. This is right here on April 8th. April 8th, that's the big one. Solar eclipse 7 years after the great solar eclipse of 2017. So as we look at the calendar, how we read it, the numbers here in the top that are in colors, those are the numbers, the biblical days of the month. Then what we have is the Gregorian days, okay? March. Now we don't like saying those things because they're basically all worshiping pagan gods. The beast changed the times and the seasons, but they're on the calendar, so you're not used to the calendar, so in order to get used to it, you need the Gregorian. Now, the calendar is formatted in a way where it is in perfect order, where you have 30 days a month. Now, in order to achieve that, it's oriented differently than your normal calendar. Your normal calendar, you have it in rows of 7. This one is in rows of 6, but that does not mean there are 6 days in the week. There are 7 days of the week. So the rows go, in a diagonal way. Just to make you think and use just a little intelligence. So for example, on the 4th day of the first month, that is Shabbat. Okay, so when we're looking at this calendar, Shabbat, the next Shabbat is going to be diagonal. In the next row, it's going to be here. And then the next one is here. So all of these are Shabbats. So you see how it goes 7th day of the week. There's 7 days in the week, and it goes diagonally. Okay? So that's just the formatting of the calendar to where everything is perfect order. You know, the purpose of the calendar is not to do something that you're used to. It's to do something that's right. And that's what we're doing here. And so that when you take the format of the calendar, month 1, 2, 3, okay, this is identical to what you'll see in month 4, 5, 6, okay, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This same order is identical. The first day of the first month is the same day of the week as the first day of the 7th month. Okay, so this is the calendar. That's when Passover is. The Feast of Weeks, okay, that is over here. That is May 18th. Okay, that's the 7th day of the 3rd month. That's the Feast of Weeks. That is Pentecost. Okay, so that is when the Feast of Pentecost is. And then another page, we have one of the feasts. Okay, the Feast of Trumpets. Feast of Trumpets is the 1st day of the 7th month, and that is going to be September 11th. Yes. Okay. Feast of Tabernacles is September 25th. Okay, and the Feast of Tabernacles. Then what we have is another solar eclipse that is appearing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, this is the 8th day of Tabernacles. Is another solar eclipse. That's not a full solar eclipse, I don't believe. Maybe it is. I don't remember. I don't have the information in front of me. But that is very significant. That's the 8th day of Tabernacles, the 22nd, day number 22 of month number 7. Okay? So that's some of the major feasts. For more details on other feasts, obviously get the calendar. Now, the calendar, we are in year 11, and in this page, we additionally have more information on the singers. Okay, the singers go through a rotation. You have the months, you have the feasts. What this says is Pesach in Hebrew. Okay, matzah. Matzah is matzah bread or unleavened bread. So this has more information about, you know, the church cycles and everything else. Okay, so these are the pages 4 and 5, and then the order of the calendar. Okay, is the order around the throne, and this is page number 1, where this can actually be used as a clock, and it's ordered by the 4 living creatures and the 12 apostles. So it's perfect order in what Yahweh places around himself in worship.
All right, a couple other things to point out with the calendar. Obviously, the paper example is a little bit clear. If our camera can focus, so when you do print it off, it's a little more clear. Now, some other things of note. As we're saying, it is done. So what this is this is what is the 7th bowl. Okay, so the reason we're explaining all this, guys, is this is it. It's finished. Okay, now we're in it. We're in Armageddon. His coming is at hand. So in simplified terms, we have the first 7 years, okay, beginning at 2010. We had the tribulation starting with the woman clothed with the sun, that eclipse, and now we're arriving at it is done, and we have another solar eclipse, 2024. And that is what we're saying here. It is done, 7th bowl. We're expecting many things in the prophecy to happen. Some other things of note, okay, is something in Daniel called the host trodden. We'll have another video on this, but when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, now this host trodden, you can see, is the 6th day of the 6th month. Very, very significant, which we will be watching for, okay? Now, additionally, this year is a leap week. So when we have the 12th month, Adar, the Feast of Purim, at the conclusion of that last week, we have another week. And what this is going to do is adjust for the difference of the 364 days. Okay, the 364 days will be adjusted. This happens every 5 and 6 years. Okay, and so we're concluding at the end of 2024. All right, and keep in mind that that is going to be in March where this week is, and then it's going to adjust properly so that the calendar is always reset properly, so we're not losing days. So yeah, this is the year, and what we want to show you as well is something called Daniel's timeline. Here's an example here. This is written many years ago, and now it's astonishing to think of this, but we are at the conclusion of Daniel's timeline, and Daniel's timeline was, okay, the 7 years. So 7 years beginning September 22nd, 2017. If we count 2,520 days, we came to August 16th. That's that host trodden that we were showing you before, 6th day of the 6th month. So here we are, guys. This is it. This is his words are going to be fulfilled. Now, if we turn this around, what we discovered is that we have an extraordinary alignment of this Daniel's timeline when we apply it to the temple. So here you can see the conclusion here, 2,500 days, 2,520 days, excuse me. Well, the temple is 2,520 inches. So we begin to realize that something profound was happening if we take Daniel's timeline and we take the days, 2,520 days, which is, the woman goes into the wilderness 1,260 days. It says that in Revelation 12. Well, if you take that's 3.5 years, okay, 1,260 times 2 is 2,520. Well, that actually is precisely the distance of the temple from the face of the porch here to the back of the temple here. So when we overlaid this timeline, this was amazing because the timeline is starting, okay, actually here, and this is the altar. So the very center point of the altar, that's before the temple, is when Daniel timeline starts, okay? And then it goes, and it will tell us the beginning of the tribulation, all right? September 22nd, 2017. And the other, everything is related to the temple, okay? The daily sacrifice was going on, and the daily sacrifice is taken away, okay? Then the temple is cleansed after 1,290 days. Well, this actually lines up exactly with the door that goes into the Holy of Holies. And the daily sacrifice, this is actually the 10th step. So there's steps that lead up into the porch, and the final one is the 10th step. So Daniel's timeline lining up perfectly. The center of the altar, the 10th step of the porch, the door to the Holy of Holies, and the very back wall. Now there's something else here that happens, is amazing, is when we take this point here from the porch and we count 1,335 inches, which we know relates to the 1,335 days, and we come here, we can see that actually aligns perfectly. It's not on this chart, but what it does is it lines up right with the table. So the table that is before the temple. We'll have another whole video on this, but what we're getting at, guys, is this is confirmation. Confirmation of his word, confirmation of the prophecy. His words are coming to pass, okay? And so at the end of this whole progress that would take place through the altar, it actually begins prior to that, but it proceeds through measurements in the temple and it comes to the back of the temple. That's what it says in Revelation 16. It is done. The voice came from the throne, from out of the temple, saying, it is done. Okay? And there was a great earthquake. So we're just watching for those things that relate to that prophecy taking place. Okay, guys, so I showed you where to get the calendar, WilliamJones.com. Right on the page, you can see right there, you can click to download the PDF file. You can get the handwritten version, or you can get the digital version. Okay, and it's hard to believe, but we're here, guys. The 14th year of the King. His coming is so soon. It's very, very exciting. It is done. Okay, so also keep in mind of all the resources. If you guys have any questions, if you're not familiar with the Enoch calendar, why do we use it? We have many, many videos in the playlist. And if you really start there at the beginning, at our intro video, it goes through it very simply. We try to do it simply here, but we also have profound things to explain to you, like Daniel's timeline. The host is trodden. Is that when Jerusalem is surrounded by armies? Now we're beginning to see how this can happen. We're watching Armageddon unfold before our eyes every single day. It is very profound. So his coming is at hand. And the voice came from the throne saying, "Praise our God, all you his servants that fear his name, both small and great."